hello everyone. Welcome to engagement. It is Wednesday night. It is hump day for some of us. For others, like myself, it's broadcast. It's show night. So you're here for hopefully some information that we'd like to give. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a little show we call engagement. So I think everybody knows that I have a side hustle, as it's called as the kids call it these days. My side hustle is I'm a wedding officiant. I'm actually a celebrant. I'm actually uh, certified, licensed. I don't have one of those internet licenses like you saw in Friends. You can't go to the Brotherhood Universal and get pay $5 to become licensed. I'm actually certified, licensed, trained, and skilled at what I do. So I thought, what a blatant plug. This is how we started the series back in the day. Let's talk about weddings. Let's talk about what I do as my side hustle. But we do more than that here. So I don't want you to scare you off if you're not getting married. We talk about all kinds of things here at engagement, whether it's weddings or the meetings from the pros, or talking about phenomenal females, or talking about men's mental health, or last month we talked about Black-owned businesses to heighten awareness of that. We do take your topics. If you have some suggestions, please reach out. Right now we're talking about wedding pros and saying yes to the pros. So last week we had two great pros on. We had Lisa Lester on, and we had Will and Grin, and they're two phenomenal professionals in this industry. And when we say weddings, it's an event. So you can just call it an event. If you're having a bar mitzvah, we don't have many of those here, but if you're having a bar mitzvah, or if you're having some sort of an event, just take the wedding out. It's no white dress required, a little less pomp and circumstance. So tonight, I'm thrilled to talk to one of my buddies who I always love showing up and seeing her at a wedding. And that would be Cindy. So Cindy's in the green room. We're gonna bring in Cindy June from Cindy June Photography, and we're gonna have a little talk, a little giggle, a little information from her. Hey, Cindy.
Hello, everybody, and
How are
hello,
you?
Doug. It's
How are you?
nice to see you. Usually we kind of connect at a wedding,
We
but
do.
kind
We
of
do.
fun to do a little chat tonight and
Yeah.
do a
We
little
had
bit
you on last
more.
time, and I always love you're one of those people that if you ask, your answer is always yes. It's like I'm like, hey, I'm doing this
Well, it
show, and
depends what you ask, but let's hope it can be like yes
this is
often.
how rumors get started.
I know it's
So
late, but it is only 7.
it is dark outside. So yeah, I mean, you're always great to hop on and give back and educate and talk to people. So Cindy, if you don't know, is a very, very talented photographer, and I always love to show up and see her at the helm of a wedding, taking pictures and in the background. And she always makes me giggle, and she knows why. And we always do a selfie because we can. And I want you to meet her. I want you to understand what she does. Having a photographer at your wedding to capture those moments is very important. Now, actually, people don't know this, and I don't know if Cindy knows, but I actually started as a photographer. I started shooting weddings, and I used to shoot weddings on film. And I would, they were mostly in churches, and all of this has now changed. Only 5% of weddings are in churches,
Yeah.
and no one shoots on film anymore. Although you can in Toronto, there are people that specialize in shooting in analog. I would pray at the back of the church during the service that the pictures turned out.
Yeah, that would be a scary way to approach a wedding day.
Yeah, yeah. Where now all you do is just hit the play button and take a look at it, make sure it looks good, and on you go.
Yeah, it is nice. You can check your digital screen and do some light testing
Yeah.
as you're rolling through the day. That's a
Mhm.
big advantage. Yeah.
But you still have to have that eye. You still have to have the foundation of photography, in your back pocket. You still
Mhm.
have to know what looks good, what works, and Cindy does that. So, Cindy, how did you get to this point? Because I know it wasn't just didn't happen overnight.
Well, I kind of always had more of a background in landscape photography, and I enjoyed spending my time kind of just shooting for fun. Like I liked looking for kind of the details of life and capturing them. Then always kind of being that person who did photography for family. Um, and then I realized that I kind of maybe thought that I'd like to expand this knowledge. So then I decided to go and study photography. So I began that process, and it was about a 2 year period of studying photography. There's way more involved than you initially realize
Hmm.
just being a hobbyist. So just being able to troubleshoot all different types of lighting, the day of the wedding, being able to rely on troubleshooting if you need to. Churches can be dark.
Hmm.
Full sun can be a really heavy contrast. So you have to have a really strong knowledge of what to do to make sure that your skies stay blue, clouds are white, and that you can make their photography look like the eye sees it. So if the photography looks like how you see the world, it will be timeless photography. So that's kind of how I try to
Hmm.
capture the day so that it won't kind of fade in and out with the times. The photography is going to always be in style, I guess.
Exactly. I want to show some of your work because I love so I ask all of my guests to send me some photos, and if not, I go creep through their pages and find some stuff. And so Cindy sent me over hers. And I'm looking through them this morning, thinking there's not one damn picture of me in here.
I should have had the selfie picture.
Girl. So, but anyway, nonetheless, I mean, they're better because I'm not in them. But here's a great shot. Getting the reflection, getting the lights, getting the moment is so important.
Mhm.
And this one here I love as well. Actually, I officiated his wedding.
Yes, we
And
were working that one together. Yeah.
yes, yes. I showed up that day and it was my second wedding of the day and it was hot, hot,
Oh,
hot.
that was a hot one.
Oh my God.
It was a hot
And
one.
I said to you, I'm coming in for a hug. I don't care how sweaty I am. And yeah,
It didn't matter. I was just as sweaty at that time.
yeah.
That was a hot one. Yeah, but those kind of photos you can see, like you want to capture their photography so that it looks artistic, not in a way that perhaps your photos are going to look like the technology of cell phones now,
Yeah.
because with that changing and changing, they're getting pretty darn good.
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
unless you're creating work using some interesting lighting, capturing it with moments. Like I try to stalk their day so that the moments are real, they're not staged. And then capturing it extremely in a creative way so
Mhm.
that it is something that's a professional took and you can see the difference. Then you don't want your photographer's package to look like it was taken by a guest at the wedding, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, there was a time back in the 80s when disposable cameras were out and people would put them on everyone's table and say take pictures and then they'd collect them at the end of the night and then they would
That
develop
was a
them and
scary time too. I've
very,
seen a
very
lot of
risky.
those go outside with people, and I don't know
Very
whatever
risky.
happened to some of those.
I was at some of those weddings and I also worked as a C41 lab tech developing pictures back in the day.
Oh,
So
then you would have seen where those cameras went.
oh yeah. Men's room,
Yeah,
people's purses. So yeah. Speaking of lights and great pose, look at this one here. Gorgeous.
yeah.
So you have to be
Those
aware of
summers, yeah.
the moment and what's going on and the weather and the light
Mhm,
and the change of
mhm,
light and you want to make sure you capture those.
mhm.
Um, this is another great one.
Yeah,
You
so
know,
it just kind of shows a moment, right? That was a
yeah.
moment with the son. A lot of families now, a lot of the weddings are families. So
Mhm.
you want to be able to get those moments when the kids are in the room with the parents, and they don't always have to be in their dressed formal clothes yet. Like that one was mom getting her son ready to get in his little suit.
Mhm.
And I try to just stay to the background and let the moments happen on their own so that they look natural.
Yeah,
So that is just her having a little second with her son before her day started. And she's going to cherish a photo like that.
absolutely. that's going to show up at his graduation
Yeah.
or his wedding or
Yeah, it will. Yeah.
yeah,
Or when he's a grown man, she's going to look back at her little boy and she's going to remember
yeah,
not maybe the wedding day getting him dressed, but the moment of when he was so little, right?
yeah,
So those catching those things are important.
yeah. This one here is also phenomenal. I mean, this is very, very real. Someone's got to steam that dress.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
cool to use fun lighting techniques to like capture the steam and it's
Mm-hmm.
like makes it look interesting and it's just
Mm-hmm.
storytelling.
Yeah.
Like that's everything that kind of unfolds in the morning and during the day and showing all that creativity and then you can kind of relive the morning and relive the day. And some of that stuff's happening and the bride doesn't even know because she's busy doing something else. So you kind of have to be always on guard, like grabbing what's going on when she's busy doing something else. Like
And
some of
let's
the
face
most
it.
fun are the ones on the dance floor, and the bride
Mhm.
and groom don't even see those images
Yeah.
until they get their wedding packages back because they were busy saying goodbye to grandma. And
Yep.
then I got the picture of the uncles having a great time break dancing on the dance floor or something, right? So that's those are always fun to capture.
Yeah.
And I'll always got to have your camera on guard looking for those things
Yeah.
because there's so many moments that you can miss if you're not always ready. So
Well, and for you, I mean, it's cameras. You've got one on each hip
yeah.
constantly, and
That's to
you,
have a couple different eyes, I guess. I usually shoot one really wide lens and one really close lens. So I can kind of drop depending on what I need.
mhm.
And that way I kind of have kind of some two guns in my hand so I can
Look
get
at
two
you.
different views.
This is another great shot. I think I know the wedding. This was probably him as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And like it's great to capture those skies, right?
Yeah.
And it's they know it's them. So they don't always have to be looking at the camera saying cheese,
Right.
as what I
Exactly.
say. That is something that's more interesting. So that kind of picture is something they might want to put up in their house.
Yeah.
Where they're walking around and their eyes are following them because they're staring right at the camera might not be something that they want, like as a piece of artwork in their house. So I try to always kind of make it my mission to find something super interesting that I think they would put up above their fireplace or something like
Exactly.
that.
Exactly. Here's
Mhm.
a couple more that I just want to show before I, you know, another.
Yeah,
Speaking of
that
dance
tells a
floor,
lot of
and
story. You can see the little boy there, and you can see the other groomsmen like having a good time, and then the girls' dresses. And it takes a lot of interesting techniques to be able to freeze those dresses because movement would go to a blur if
mhm,
you didn't know how to capture that, right? So,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. But you know how, and you do a great job of it. So, how's your wedding season booking for you? How's it looking? Is it?
Well, this year is getting to be pretty crazy. It's going to be a really busy year for photographers.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. Like we're looking like we're going to be mask free even at the end of the month.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be great to see some normal come back to these days, to be able to see people's faces and more moments and smiles. I miss seeing everybody's smiles and things.
Yeah.
And the year is going to be busy, and 2023 is really busy as well now. People need to be planning ahead and getting the vendors booked early because the next couple years are already looking to be crazy. So good advice. Like the normal was maybe like a year out. Like people have to stretch a little bit longer if they're starting to plan now because it's everybody's making up for those COVID years. So we're going to see a few busy years in weddings, I think, coming up.
I agree. Actually, there was a news service that came out last week. Now, U.S. source, and they
Mhm.
said that weddings will be busier this year than they were in 1987. Now, I don't remember
Wow.
weddings in 1987, but I was
No, me
alive.
neither.
But you probably weren't even born yet.
I
Um,
think I was maybe in like grade 8 dances still,
oh,
something like that.
so yeah, it's extremely busy, and I'm on sort of a mission here, and I'm sure I'll get people's pushback and emails and letters, and please send them on.
Mhm.
Um, I think you need to look at your services, your vendors. You need, and you need to look at the order. I think in a different light. So yes, you need your venue.
Mhm.
Yes, you need a photographer.
Mhm.
Um, but what and all these books have how to's and the order in which you should be booking your vendors. I think personally you need to look at moving, and this is very selfish and very self-centered
Mhm.
and all that, but move your officiant up at
Oh,
least above the cake, right?
yeah, I would hope so.
Right? Okay, I want nice flowers, but
Well, there is a difference. You sometimes, I know, see 2 to 3 weddings on a Saturday where we
yeah,
do one, but I do always guide my brides, get everyone booked like
yeah,
as soon as you can, especially if there's favorites you want, because
mhm,
it's going to be hard to get your favorites in the next couple years. So
it
you want
is.
to make sure you get everybody booked. And once they're booked, then you can just relax and then have fun
Mhm,
with the wedding party. And also, your vendors are great ones to get booked because you have them on your team because they're so experienced to help you plan these days.
absolutely.
Like
Reach out, ask them.
we know how to work the timelines,
Mhm.
help you figure out who to get, any questions. And like my brides, I give them my text and I'm like, I'm your person now. You just connect when you have a question
Yep.
because we do it so regularly. It's
Mhm.
really, we get complacent on how everything is new for them, right?
Yeah, exactly. So speaking of new, that's a great segue. Thank you very much. We work so
Yeah,
well together.
we do. Leading into our next.
So there's someone new in the wedding professional industry, and it's a venue, and it's not your typical brick and mortar vendor, and so I want to bring in someone new, a new friend that is now doing something in the way of weddings, and that friend is Ashley, and Ashley is from um Sunflowers for Smiles, and Sunflowers for, she'll tell us exactly what it's all about in a minute, but it's a really cool um service, place, concept. So let's welcome in Ashley. Hey Ashley.
Hi guys, how's it going?
Good,
Hi.
how you doing?
Good, thanks.
So I feel like I know you, so can I call you Ash?
Yeah, of course.
Perfect, perfect. So you have a sunflower field,
And a full acre of them, yep.
that's a lot of sunflowers, I'm assuming.
We planted around 31,000 seeds, so yes.
Wow. I planted some last year. I love sunflowers. I planted them. I live, in urban Chatham, and got them all as seedlings. And they got started growing, a couple inches tall, and planted them in the ground. And then 2 days later, the rabbits ate them. So
Oh no.
I may have to just come and steal some of yours.
Well, we'll have
Look,
lots of seeds.
yes. Well, I have the seeds. It's just I need to get rid of the rabbits. Maybe you can take those away. So tell us where you're at.
So we're in Cottam. We're at 45 Road 10 Cottam, and a good landmark is Gosfield North Central School, because a lot of people, for some reason, the GPS takes a lot of people to Kingsville. We are
Oh,
not in Kingsville. We're in
okay,
Cottam.
cool. Now I've got some photos of some of the field. I'm going to show you a couple of them. I mean, sunflowers are gorgeous. They're incredible that they follow the sun. They basically pivot. They're gorgeous, big, bright, sunny sunflowers. Look at those.
Beautiful.
We have
Those
a
I
are a
lot of
think we're
unique
variety.
variety.
so
Yeah.
Cindy's going to want to shoot some weddings out there for sure,
Yeah,
for
Sure. Come on
sure.
over.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're obviously renting out the space for weddings right there. This is a beautiful. Oh
Wow, you have beautiful varieties.
yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, we like trying to have something different. I mean, obviously, a typical sunflower is perfectly fine,
Mhm.
but we really like trying to have something different. With the variety of colors, it gives something different for the background of photos.
Mhm.
So here's obviously a great photo for weddings. So explain to us: are you having people just come there for photos? They're coming there for photos and services, or they're coming there for a party? Tell us the plan here.
Sure. So we've changed it up a little bit. We're fairly new to everything that we're doing, but it kind of just started out as the public coming in, paying a cash donation, and viewing the field for fun to take photos and to use the props that we had. We've had to spice things up a little bit just to keep up with everything else that's going on. So we've decided to do per appointment only so that it's more intimate. You can have a family setting, or you can have the field to yourself and use all the props. But we've decided to expand it to wedding ceremonies because they're just beautiful and there's nothing else like it in the area. We give everything that you need to have the wedding, and we just want to make it as easy and as beautiful as possible for that bride and groom.
It'd be very enclosed because I'm assuming that
Mhm.
are they getting interior into the field? Are they getting, is it an exterior on the edge?
So when they first come in, there's a big parking lot. So depending on how many people that they're having in the wedding, and then there's a little area for the bride and her girls to get ready in, kind of freshen up. And then we actually have a tent going over top of the sunflowers so that they're in the shade. But you're surrounded by sunflowers when you're saying "I do."
Oh, that's cool. That's very cool. So this is also a great shot. I love that.
Mhm.
Actually, my husband and I, we got married 5 years ago, and that's him and I in those photos. And we just did
Oh,
it
Oh,
for fun.
look at
So
that.
last year or 2 years ago when we started and we took those pictures, it was just for fun to show off the sunflowers. And now we're just getting into weddings. So it kind of just worked perfectly to show those off.
That's
what
very
is
cool.
your season that you have for like what is the month that is wedding season for
It's
you guys?
very short. So it takes
Yeah.
months and months of planning, but to have the best time of the bloom, you're only looking at about a month. So the middle to the end of August to the end of September
Okay,
for the
that's
photos. But we
Mhm.
do like have other stuff a little bit beforehand, a little bit afterwards. But for the
mhm.
weddings, you're looking at 1 month. So
So brides need to be getting a hold of you now.
Now,
Yeah,
we're booking into the next few years already. We definitely do
great.
have tons of openings, and kind of like you, we can do a few within the day. So
Yeah.
because we are only doing it the 2 hours, it's only the ceremony. We can
Mhm.
fit a few within the day, which helps with the bride. She comes in, she gets married, and then she can have the rest of her day to celebrate whichever way she and her groom prefer.
Mhm.
I love it.
Mhm.
I love it. Um, so people can find you by just searching Sunflowers for Smiles.
Yes, so we're Sunflowers for Smiles on Facebook and Instagram. I will admit I'm very new to Instagram, so please be patient, and any suggestion would be greatly appreciated. But you can also find myself on Facebook under Ashley Catherine. I promote on my personal page as well as the Sunflowers for Smiles.
Nice.
Mhm.
And then there's another great shot. Yeah, there's, I mean,
It's a
endless
beautiful setting, yeah.
It's beautiful. It would be very interesting to get married within the interior of that as a setting with the flowers because
Yeah.
I do a ton of weddings myself and I look at things differently in the fact that that highway noise it carries and
Mhm.
the thick brush or growth would help to deter that so it'd be much quieter, much more dense. And I can imagine a bride coming in and her party coming in through a very narrow row of sunflowers to an opened area where the wedding would be. So
Yeah, I
Mhm.
have to admit it's pretty nice. It is very secluded. Like I said, we're kind of on a back road. You have the whole area to yourself. So you have the parking lot. You get married underneath the tent with the shade, with the sunflowers surrounding you. But the nice thing is you get the whole field to yourself. So we have a path going through the whole sunflower field with different props. So
mm,
as wonderful as photographers can be, the props really help with that. Just gives you something extra that your photo has that no one else does. I mean,
right,
obviously you got the sunflowers for that, but the props are very nice.
yeah,
And we're always spicing that up.
oh, that's very cool. Yeah, quite a bit of variety. um these are obviously smaller ones, big red ones and gorgeous big yellow ones, and sunflowers right now, of course. I mean, I've always loved sunflowers, but of course they're very popular right now because of what's going on in the world.
Mhm.
Everyone, there likely be a
Ukraine's
shortage.
flower.
Yeah, there'll
Mhm.
be a shortage of sunflower seeds, so
Yeah,
you
Thankfully,
may
we
want to
already
hoard
got
absolutely.
those.
ours. So
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect, perfect. So I've been doing a little thing during the show. Um, Actually, before I go to that, Ashley, how did this sort of just happen because you guys had the field, and I would imagine people would be showing up in their cars and rushing the field to get photos done without permission and all that kind of. Probably photographers like Cindy dragging them out there.
Hey.
I guess that's all the fun with the public. I mean, the reason why we did this was because everything that was going on with COVID. We started in 2019 when there was nothing to do. I myself was off on maternity leave, so I had that time to have fun with this. And my aunt, who kind of thought of the idea, asked my grandparents, and they were happy to give us about an acre of land to do all this. And it just kind of went with that. Like, we opened it up to the public. Everyone was super happy to come to do something with their family. But we also give a portion of the proceeds to Ronald McDonald House and mental health.
Nice.
So it's nice to give back in more than one way. And we're always looking for something to expand on that as well. But yes, sometimes it can be a struggle with the public. But you know what? The benefit that comes out of it, the amount of people that come out and they're just supportive and grateful, it's worth it.
Awesome. That's good. It's nice to see you're giving back too. That really helps. So your weddings, I'm assuming, are booking up like crazy. You're booking into 2024 and beyond.
Yeah. So like I said, this is actually our first year starting the weddings. Before, it was just the public coming in and photographers coming in per appointment. So the fact that we just kind of started promoting the sunflowers for wedding ceremonies, we have booked up quite a few this year and next year, but we do still have openings because we're offering 3 a day. But like Cindy said, I mean, you want to book in advance as much as you can. But if you're looking for something this year, we still have it available. And you know what? You can make do, because I have to admit, I booked my wedding in 8 months and it worked out fine.
Yep. Well, that brings me to something great. So you guys are working out really well to a great segue that I'm calling Ask a Pro. So hang on for this. So we started last week doing a pro tip, because we've got these pros that are on the show, and I never tell them what we're going to do in the way of that. I give them the questions we may or may not ask. So I have a pro tip, because I do a lot of weddings. I'm a certified wedding planner as well. And last week the tip was to have a PA system at your service so people can hear what is going on, and have music as people arrive, because it's extremely important. It sets the mood, it sets the tone. It makes everyone's heart rate come down, and they're a little more relaxed. And when they're a little more relaxed, they're going to connect better. This week's tip is talk to your pros. Ask your pros who they know, what's the cool thing. Last year, one of the biggest things, and it's probably still going to be popular this year, is having the flower dude. I was at a lot of weddings that instead of having a flower girl, there was a flower dude coming in with a fanny pack full of petals.
Yeah, I was at one like that. I think you were there as well.
Yeah.
I should have put that picture up if I would have known you were going to say that.
Yeah.
I had a great mid-air with the flowers dropping shot of that one.
They always tell me, I'm always privy to this usually, or I can see it coming. So I've been able to whip my personal cell phone out and videotape the whole thing. And my favorite was one of the last ones they did out on the farm, and the flower dude drove a tractor and a little trailer and 2 little boys in the back with shorts and suspenders, and they handed out of a bucket. They handed out little fun-sized bags of chips. And then the flower dude came along. He's throwing flowers and handing out beers.
Oh. He would have been a popular person at the wedding.
He's popular with me.
Yeah.
He got down front, and he looked at me, and I looked at him, and I went,
"Don't forget me."
Beer, and I downed it for the bride. Got down the aisle, and
that's great.
Ended up doing a mazel tov when she got down and crushed the can, and away we went. So ask your pros. They know who's out there. They know what services are available. They know who is,
and anything goes now. The more personal and unique it is, the more fun it is for guests. So like, be creative and think of something different. Like the sunflowers, such a new, unique idea. And something people haven't seen before. So it's a very interesting thing for their guests.
Exactly. They're going to talk about it when they leave, and it's something they've never seen before, and definitely run with it. But so lean on those pros. Like I give all of my brides and grooms, all of my couples, my cell number if they have any questions. A lot of them vet their music through me to see if I like it, because I'm a huge music nut. But talk to your pros and let them give you advice. You don't have to take the advice, but let them give you some advice. So, do you guys have any that you want to share? I mean, putting you on the spot here, but
I do feel that making your wedding unique is really kind of important. And the feeling that anything is okay. People feel that it has to have certain traditions, it has to follow a certain routine. It doesn't. With COVID, we all learned that. We had elopements with 4 people
Mm-hmm.
there. We had weddings that were supposed to be a year from now happen in a month.
Yep.
That, like, as long as the people you care about are there, and remember the day is truly just about the two of you
Mm-hmm.
getting married, having that commitment, that the rest is just supposed to be fun. And if you walk into your wedding with an idea of, we're just going to make this fun, we're going to work with fun people, we're going to bring all of our friends and family together, then if you have that in your mind, then the guests are going to get the same experience. So forget about being stressed about weddings and learn to enjoy it,
Mm-hmm.
because the right team takes the stress away and
Very
then
true.
leaves so much room for the fun part.
Yeah. I always tell couples it's a wedding, not a funeral.
Yeah, you're
So
right.
enjoy yourself, enjoy the day. I always make sure that at least my couples, when they get down front, we have a moment. The music can keep on playing, the music can stop. There can be dead silence. I'm okay with that. But we take a second to make sure we inhale and
Yeah.
exhale, because the
Yeah.
heart rate comes down. You're more connected with what's going on. Because the last thing I want them to do is turn around at midnight that night and go, what the hell just happened? I don't remember anything.
Yeah.
And they're going to
And
have moments of that anyhow, because
Mhm.
the day goes by really fast.
Mhm.
But it gives them a chance to calm down and slow down and remember more of it.
And look across the aisle to who you're there to meet at the front of the aisle, right?
You
So it gives them a
it's the right
moment.
person.
It gives them a moment to remember the reason they're there, right? Instead of like the issues that happened at the limo 5 minutes before they walked in, right? That kind of thing. So
Yep,
yeah, that's a great
inconsequential.
way as an officiant to get them to slow down, look across the aisle to who they're meeting at the front of the aisle, and then make the day
Right.
about themselves. So that's
Yep.
really a good advice.
Yep. We love weddings, don't we?
Oh, they're fun.
Absolutely.
We hope to see Ashley at a wedding this year.
Yeah.
We're going to be in the sunflowers with her.
I'm
Perfect.
hoping to see both of you there as well.
Yeah, that would be great.
I really want to put something together for the brides. Like we have a little bit of like a wedding package. So kind of like you said, where you want to have everything prepared, but you also want to have fun. So I want to take away as much stress as I can for them. So when they do book with us, we kind of have a little bit of like a planning information package for one, how to get there so that you know where you're going, but also ideas for photographers, officiants, where to get married afterwards, what else to do in the area, just something that they might not even think about, and it's in the tip page. So
what a great idea.
Take that out of something that they have to stress over.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. Good job. Yeah. So reach out to your pros. Cindy is a phenomenal photographer. She, like I said earlier, she always makes me laugh. It's not uncommon for for me to catch her eye as she's rolling on the floor trying to get that perfect shot. No matter, and I've been at weddings outside, and she's still on the ground.
Doesn't matter what I look like. I'm behind the camera.
You always look fine, but you got to get that shot. So, and now you've got a great venue with sunflowers and surrounded by nature, and yeah, you can. There's a lot of great opportunities out there. So, a lot of people can't get to wedding shows this year, or they don't want to go to wedding shows, or maybe the weekends that they have them are just inappropriate. So this is our opportunity to for them to tune in and find out, what they can and can't do, or what they may or may not like. You get a sort of a glimpse into the personalities of the people that are the pros that you hopefully, may be hiring to do the work that you want done and make your day extra special. So thank you guys. I really appreciate you guys coming on. Any closing thoughts from you guys before I have my closing thoughts?
Well, thanks for having us, and I'll let Ashley speak. Go ahead, Ashley.
Oh, no, that's okay. Just one thing that I wanted to make a point about, because like you said, a lot of weddings are outside nowadays. I just think you want to maybe keep in mind everything that could happen that's outside. You just want to make the best out of it. you know what, it might rain. You bring an umbrella and some rubber boots, you can have some pretty cute pictures, and it's probably not one that anybody else is going to have. Your photographer is going to know how to take those photos and make it work for you. But the fact that we are outside, we do, like I said, we do have that tent. We try and keep you sheltered as much as possible, but just go with the flow. If it's hot, you know what, you bring a fan and you have it in your hair and you make it work. And if it's raining, you bring the umbrella and those rubber boots and you play in the mud. So whatever happens, you go with the flow. You just be prepared that whatever could happen while you're outside getting married.
I think that's a really great point. People tend to forget about the season. You know, when I got married 36 years ago, I chose the fall because the fall is typically cooler. No one really wants to sweat their pajangas off, you know, in a suit. If you want to wear a suit, and then find a cooler time of year. There's nothing wrong with wearing shorts at a wedding.
No.
Whether you're in the wedding party or not. One of my favorite weddings I did in a small town here was at a Legion, and the couple were older, second marriage around. And their rule for me was, we want you to come to our wedding. We've heard fabulous things about you, but you have to wear flip-flops, shorts, and a Hawaiian shirt, and have a drink up at the front with you. I'm like, damn,
like these people.
Yes.
Yeah, I can do that.
I can do that. I can do that all day long.
They learned from their first wedding how they wanted their second one, and they wanted it in a different feel. A lot of fun. Great.
Exactly. Cindy, any ideas or suggestions or last thoughts?
I kind of agree with Ashley. Like, people get really worried and they're checking the weather like days before, and rain's coming. And rain is fine for the bride and groom. It's the photographers that get soaked and dirty and muddy, but we're there for you. We will put you under a tree cover, under an umbrella, and we will get the pictures, and they'll be stunning and unique. And the thing is, whatever weather you get that day, or whatever your day ends up being, you have to remember it's part of your story. It's the story that your wedding is, and you're going to share that with your family. You're going to talk and laugh about it after it's all done. That it doesn't matter. You just roll with it and make your day great. You've taken so much time to plan it. It's a year leading up to it. Don't fret about those simple things like weather, and we know how to work around it. We bring, in the spring, summer, I usually always have 12 umbrellas in the back of my car when I go to weddings, just in case. I always hope I don't have to use them. But if I do, they've been some great pictures. I usually bring a change of clothes to every wedding I go to as well, because who knows what I'm going to look like at the end of the day. But your pictures will be great. It's worth it. It's a lot of fun.
Exactly. Yeah, so if you're planning a wedding or an event of some sort, you know, reach out to these pros. Reach out to me. I'll connect you with them as well. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you like and follow, and look back on our YouTube channel where you'll find the very first Master Series in Weddings, where you'll see Cindy a year ago, and you'll see some great work of hers, and you'll see some other pros that we talked to last time. So this is going to go on for the month of March. And each one is going to be wedding related. And, you know, Ashley and Cindy, stick around. I'm going to put you in the background for a quick second here. And, you know, we really appreciate you coming here. So you'll see this on our replay. We call it re-engagement on the weekends on Sunday at 11 o'clock. So if you want to watch it again, or share with a friend, or tell someone to tune in, please do. We really appreciate you coming here to engagement. Thank you.